We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Tarmac Sports.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the 2019 British Drift Championship. We're coming to you live from Driftland in Scotland, Europe's only purpose-built drift circuit. My name is Ian Wallington, and in the tower I am joined by the wonderful Sarah Hall. Sarah, welcome to Driftland, your first ever time at the purpose-built drift circuit.
Absolutely amazing track. Round 1 was absolutely fantastic. I'm hooked, I'll say that much. Yeah, it was brilliant to be there, and it's brilliant to be here somewhere completely different track. Yeah, it's exciting.
It's very exciting indeed, and as you can see for you guys sitting at home watching the live stream, or if you guys are here in attendance on the big screen at the back of the track there, you can see our track layout, exactly what Sarah was just talking about. So this track, purposely designed for drifting, as you can see there, start and initiation point just before clipping point 1. A nice fast little flick on initiation was what the judges were talking about in briefing. They want to see the guys nice and wide. There's a white line painted on the outside of the track. They want to see the one wheel on that white line all the way out to clipping point 2, and then just dropping in ever so slightly, there's 3 lines just on the edge of the curb in there before they dip down into 3. You want to see the guys front wheel just on them 3 dotted lines, making their way down into the only de-acceleration point on this circuit, into clipping point 3, where they'll be back on the power again, driving away from clipping point 3 out to 4, a nice smooth transition into 5, and a nice wide line again. There's a dotted line on the edge of the circuit. Drivers got to be careful not to get a wheel over that, or not get too shallow and get on the wrong line. Finish off the run back on the wall again at clipping point 6. That easy. That is exactly how easy that track is to drive.
It's simple, right?
It's simple. It's simple. And our judges, exactly. And our judges in the house this weekend will be our head judge Brad McQueen, followed up by Gaz Taylor, and our guest judge this weekend, a local guy. It will be Carl Chisholm sitting in the hot seat seat for this judging criteria. As you can see, our starting order, we're going to kick this off with some of our Drift Cup drivers. So Drift Cup is our feeder series. These guys, you know, they earn their stripes right down in the nitty-gritty, work their way up, and they get the opportunity to come to BDC. If these guys now qualify in the Pro-Am class, they obviously then gain a Pro-Am licence and are Pro-Am drivers for the rest of the season. Up first should be Tony Morgan, but we are hearing reports in the pits that Tony Morgan unfortunately won't be making it out for qualifying. As you can see, Stuart Ardsley there and Will Gibbs. We move it along to the guys that haven't yet driven in the championship for this season. Stephen Fitzgerald, Jack Wooten, and we move it along so forth. The guys in the middle of the pack, Robbie Bagone there, debuting in a brand new car, another local guy coming along this weekend, and then we start getting with the guys that finished, like, you know, tail end of the championship at round one. Paul Beachy, Darren Wiles, Ryan Toporowski, Matt Fountain picking up that brand new sponsorship from Morton Motorsport for this round. Chris Wright moving it along at Nerigis built a brand new engine and was tuning the car last night to 11 o'clock and drove through the night to make it. That is dedication.
It's dedication and a half, isn't it? You can't get much more committed than that.
Exactly, that is putting it all out there on the line. We move it along. Paulius Judicious there making his way up. These guys now, we're starting to get to the top end of the championship as we work our way through. And then it just leaves our top 10 guys where we have Hugh Saville, Louis Edwards in that little BMW 36, absolutely driving a flying line. Luke Barker, the guy that's been the name in Irish drifting for the beginning of this year, you know, taking 2 wins at the Drift Games National Series. Coming back to the UK, having a bit of misfortune at round 1, broke a drive shaft. They went away, they reworked that car. But you know what? Not an easy weekend already for Luke Barker. That guy having to wait for a turbo to turn up from DPD before he can even get out and get practice lapping.
I bet that was the fastest delivery driver in the world, thinking that, wasn't it? Under pressure or what?
He was certainly under pressure. But then we start moving it along. We get into the top 4 of the championship. Paul Cunnington, Martin Cowley obviously finished off 3rd place on the podium at round 1, and then Nick Brady 2nd place, and our championship leader Josh King. He looked unbelievable at round 1. We went to Silverstone to put on a drift demo, and unfortunately he lost the engine in his E36 BMW M50 turbo. The engine gone, finished, done and dusted. He said there is no way I'm getting this car done. So he said it's okay, I've got my 5 Series at the garage, it's got a V8 with a turbo in it, I'll just, you know, chuck a few bits in it and come along.
Is it that easy? Can I have a go?
It seems like it's that easy. And for Josh King, look, he knows the championship is on the line for him. He knows that if he doesn't turn up to round 2, throw everything that he's got at the kitchen sink, he needs to really pull it all out the bag. He knows he could win this championship with a little bit of consistency. He's been flying today in practice, but we see some of these practice runs. And there was a young lady out on circuit that didn't make it to round 1, Sarah, that absolutely blew your socks off.
She did. I can't.
Jolene McDonald.
I'm still in shock.
You're still in shock. Jolene, yeah.
She absolutely wowed me this morning.
Yeah, she was absolutely flying. Yeah, that fast start E92 M3 BMW. She had a lot of issues. I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to say it, and she won't mind me saying this. I saved the bacon this weekend for Jolene McDonald, because on Thursday night I drove all the way down to Gatwick. I picked up a differential from another BDC driver, James Matheson, and I brought it all the way up yesterday. Non-stop drive, may I add. 10 hours in the car on my own. Yeah. Brought it all the way up for Jolene. They got that differential welded. The guys at Fast Star, they got it back in the car, and you know what? It was a real good. It put a smile on my face today, to see Jolene absolutely smashing that qualifying line.
Well, absolutely. That's what drifting's all about, isn't it?
It's a big family. It's a family. It's a family, and you're becoming part of it now, Sarah. You was down there getting nitty-gritty. You was in the pits, walking around, finding out all the info,
pestering everyone and asking millions
of questions. Best way to be. So as you can see, our live drone here showing you the views of our paddock there behind the commentary tower, and just showing you the custom circuit. It just goes to show you how much work these guys put in. Toby, our track manager, you know, and a few other guys here painting that circuit relentlessly for the last 2 days, making sure it's absolutely perfect for our drivers. And looks like we are almost ready. We're just tidying up the back of the grid, making sure the track is ready to rock and roll. And as soon as we get the all clear from our track manager, Toby, we'll be sending the first car of qualifying, and we're kicking off round 2 already.
I'm excited. I can't wait for it to get started. I love that drone footage though.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That paddock is just packed full.
Well, we've got some other stuff as well to come. Yeah, so
I know.
We've got a couple of tricks up our sleeve. Yeah, we've got a couple of tricks. So yeah, I mean, if you're watching now, obviously you would have seen online there would have been an announcement. Unfortunately, we've lost really bad internet signal here at Driftland. So unfortunately, this will be delayed. But nevertheless, we are still bringing you the show.
We're still going.
We're still bringing you the show. We haven't packed up. We haven't gone home. No chance. Whatever happens, I'm not going to say the W word. Not going to say the W word because it's dangerous. Because it's nice at the moment. But we've had a really, really good practice session. These guys have been putting on a real good show. A lot of guys struggling. You mentioned earlier, Sarah, one thing that stuck out for you was the line.
Yeah, it looks really, really tricky between 2 and 3. The track looks quite flat from where the spectators start, even from the tower, to be fair, it looks quite flat. I went out there yesterday with Lee Lawrence, and it is not flat.
It's certainly not flat.
The gradients on this track are insane.
Exactly. Very deceiving.
Yeah, very deceiving from up here. And between 2 and 3, there's a real downhill gradient, and that is, I think, throwing a lot of people off.
Exactly that. It gains speed, so you're flat out in third, fourth gear, coming through clipping point 2, and then you're heading downhill towards a point of the track where it just literally wants to fire you into the farmer's field opposite. And it does look, Sarah, like we are ready to rock and roll. I'm excited for this.
Going.
So round 2 is almost ready to go. Does it look like we have Tony Morgan on the line? And it could quite possibly be. It would have been skin of his teeth stuff for him. And I think, do you know what, for him, a little bit of luck played on his side that some of these guys were late getting to the gridding area and were late to get sorted out, and Tony Morgan actually managed to make his way to the beginning of the queue.
Fingers crossed, that is what we want. We want everyone out there.
Yeah, we certainly do. And yeah, it does look like Tony Morgan will make his first qualifying run of the day. So there we go, our first Drift Cup driver and our first driver of our Pro-Am class today here at round 2 will be Tony Morgan, earning his stripes in Drift Cup, giving him the opportunity to come here and qualify. So off the line goes Tony Morgan, and we will just show you now the gradient. Look at that uphill into initiation, as Sarah was mentioning earlier. A nice straight line initiation on the handbrake. Oh, but Tony Morgan, yeah, and that car just not playing ball. I did hear earlier rumours that the car having teething issues. He's had do you know what? The biggest thing for me, Tony Morgan's had problems with his car for nearly 2 years now. Last weekend I went to Drift Cup at Kings Lynn at the Adrian Flux Arena, and he was absolutely flying. Car was perfect, didn't miss a beat all weekend. Comes to BDC where he wants to get that BDC licence so bad, and it just all falls apart. That will be a 0. We need to make that official as soon as the graphics pop up on the screen. An incomplete run there. Yeah, and a 0 for Tony Morgan's first run. Next up, Matt Roberts in the BMW E36.
Apparently, Matt Roberts' nickname is Pex.
It is Pex. It is Pex indeed. I'm just going to show you the list from Darryl. He's better half. Look at this. Look at the information. It would take me days to read that out as we see Matt Roberts come off the line. And a nice initiation there, but he drops a wheel over. He's got 2 wheels over. Oh, and a straight in there for Matt Roberts. Just goes to show you how challenging these tracks are. And again, referring back to that line, you can see Matt Roberts there making a few mistakes as he makes his way around for his first qualifying run. He's going to try his best anyway to put in a run. Pretty sure that was 2 wheels over, so it could possibly be a 0 already for Matt Roberts. He's a serving paratrooper in the Army for over 23 years, currently based at MOD St Anthony in South Wales. And yeah, look at that, a 0, so 2 wheels over the edge of the circuit, and an unlucky start there for Matt Roberts.
So for anyone watching, if you put 2 wheels off, is that automatically 0?
Yeah, so two wheels over the edge of the circuit, and the edge of the circuit here is denominated by those white lines, or over the red and blue curbing. If you've got 2 wheels over that, you are off track. The grass. There's a pond in the middle. If you're in there,
yeah, you don't want to end up in that.
You're in the wrong place. Up next, Stuart Ardsley. This guy was an absolute force to be reckoned with. Came to Silverstone the other weekend to put on some drift demos for the British Championship. Look at this, the local guy absolutely flying. A nice initiation from Ardsley at the moment. Look at that nice wide line. M3, S54 under the bonnet, but he's very low. You can see the front wheels almost on the edge of that curb in there, but he gets nice and deep into outer zone 3. And we switch over. Not as deep into that outer zone 4 as we'd like to see him, but he's on a nice line now as he takes it to the wall and across the line. And Stuart Ardsley there finishing up his first qualifying run. He should nail that. He's a local guy, right?
He is. He should be used to this, right? Is he down here after work on a night practicing something in secret?
So not sure what's going on right there. We are just going to wait and find out if Stuart Ardsley did get a score. And up next will be Will Gibbs, the first of our BDC drivers. He gives the thumbs up, he's ready to rock and roll. You can see him in that E36 BMW. And what we're looking at, what sort of power has he got under the bonnet of that car, Sarah?
Close to 600.
Oh, just 600, yeah, and a 1.5 JZ almost onto the wall though goes Will Gibbs. This is looking tasty. from Will Gibbs, but again, another driver falling foul. They're dropping wheels over the edge of the circuit. Judge is going to be looking into that, see if it is a 0. It just goes to show you how knife edge this track is, and you said to me earlier, this track literally is, get it right, it's right, get it wrong, you're getting very wrong.
Yeah, it's very easy to get it wrong as well.
So Will Gibbs there takes that to the wall and across the line. And another guy we're going to see, could he skip? I mean, we didn't get a score for Stuart Ardsley. I'm going to try and find out exactly what happened there. Will Gibbs, though, we wait for that score to come in. Oh, and there we go, a 68 for Will Gibbs, so he qualifies first at the moment. Obviously, we've still got a fair few drivers to go. And up next off the line, it will be Stephen Fitzgerald.
So he's in a 500 horsepower car, which is a little bit less. Is it really going to make that much difference? It's got to be about driving.
Even he's on a mid-line here, and you can see him just pop a wheel on that curbing. And you can just see him get it wrong there on that line as he comes down now. Starts to find his feet once again. As you can hear him really working the car. Stephen Fitzgerald, a veteran of drifting, makes his way round. And the company director, RB25, 500 horsepower. So scores drop in for Stephen Fitzgerald. Brad just taking his time, not sure what he was going to score him there. Carl Gadd's very similar. Oh, and a very low score there for Brad, and that drops in 59. So a 59 there for Stephen Fitzgerald. Jack Wooten now off the line, a brand new car for Jack Wooten for 2019 E36 BMW 2JZ under the bonnet. Sorry, 1.5 JZ, 480 horsepower. The plant operator representing Hell Performance. And Hell Performance here today in attendance. Steve's down there in the gazebo. He said, this is how good of a sponsor Hell Performance is. He said, if anybody here today breaks their car and they want any help whatsoever, as if Steve can help them in any kind of way with a brake line or a hydraulic line or anything, he will do it for free.
That is pretty good from a sponsor, isn't it? What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? If he buys me dinner tonight, it'd be even better. But the score drops in for Jack Wooten. And looks like a safe run for Jack Wooten as he gets a 63. So 63 for Jack Wooten's first qualifying run of the day. Up next, Philip Hayden, a man that looks, I mean, he is a looky-likey for Ed Sheeran. The little E36 compact. E36 M3 power plant under it with nitrous. And Hayden doing a pretty good job so far. This guy, a very consistent driver. You can see the back of that car just bouncing up and down as Hayden puts foot to floor, finds that wide line. Very nice line as he takes it across the line. Very, very good job there from the brown driver. He's a student and an ex-pizza delivery driver.
I can imagine your pizzas were still hot when you get there.
Or no toppings.
Oh, yeah, everything's fell off. But his car's 350 horsepower, so it's not small, but in drift terms, that's quite small horsepower.
Yeah, and for this track like, demands quite a lot of power. You know, it's quite a long drag from initiation to 1.3. So he's probably one of the lowest power drivers here.
It's not stopping him.
It's certainly not, and a 58. So a 58 there for Philip Hayden. Up next, Rob Johnson. And Johnson bumps the numbers back up again. 500 horsepower underneath the bonnet of this S14. The plant engineer from Portsmouth.
Another Hell Performance supported vehicle as well?
Yeah, Hell Performance, Aqua Garage Services, Pro Tuner and A-Plant. And Rob Johnson had a very, very good day in practice today. What can he do in qualifying though, where it all counts? Nice and close to the wall, good initiation from Johnson, but he's very wide, drops a wheel into the gravel. And that could potentially be a 0 for Johnson. He's going to keep at it though, he's going to try and put in a qualifying run and gain anything back from this. Transitions back into the fire layout zones as he shifts up a gear, puts foot to floor, takes it to the wall and across the finish line. And Rob Johnson, I'm pretty sure that's a 0.
I think it's going to be, isn't it?
So we just await confirmation from our judges. No, I was wrong. Not the first time, definitely won't be the last time. And he scores a 60, so Rob Johnson sits on a 60. Up next, Dominic Gates. Now a guy usually, you know, driving an immaculate S13. A lot of time and effort gone into that car. Unfortunately, again, problems for Dominic Gates, so he jumps into his best friend's car.
That's some trust, isn't it?
That is more than trust, Sarah.
Trust.
That is like me lending you my BMW and you sending it around there, and that, let me tell you, is not going to ever happen. So, Dominic Gates right now looks pretty good. Not the cleanest line we've seen from Gates today, but nevertheless, in a borrowed car, he's doing a pretty good job making it round. Gets nice and close to the wall, and the owner's probably wincing right now in the grandstand.
Yeah, can you imagine that if that was your car?
No, I wouldn't want to imagine it.
Oh, you'd be on the edge of your seat, wouldn't you?
So Dominic Gates finishes off his first qualifying run of the year. And an absolutely stacked grid. I'm just looking out of the window here at the judging tower and I can see all those cars queued up, and I'm thinking, do you know what, this afternoon's going to be pretty insane. We missed the score there, unfortunately, for Dominic Gates, but we'll come back to that as soon as I know what it is. We'll move things along. Chris Gerard now on the line.
This is Skyline again, R32 this one. 350 horsepower, so again quite low in drift terms.
Oh, but he's very wide.
Yeah.
He's very, very wide.
Dropped it off there, took his bumper with it.
Yeah, very wide there. All kind of went wrong from the initiation, completely got it wrong.
Yeah.
Missed that first clipping point, and unfortunately there, washed him majorly wide. And Chris Gerard will finish up the run, but that will be 2 wheels in the gravel, so that will be a 0 bar. I've been wrong before, so we will need to make it official, and yet there it is. Chris Gerard scores a 0. We go back to the line, to the next driver of the day. It will be David Curtis. So David Curtis, the factory manager, representing TH Components and Rapid Design. Driving a Nissan 200SX S14, 400 horsepower from the SR20 under the bonnet. Placed third at last round of the Drift Games Nationals. So there's nothing to be laughed at, as David Curtis now gets nice and close to the wall. Nice initiation. Wants to get that car on the widest line possible. You can see a little wave on the steering wheel, but it gets nice and deep into outer zone 2. Looking good from Curtis so far. Nice line through outer zone 3 there, and back on throttle. Nice and early, nice smooth transition into outer zone 5. And look at that, very wide, almost puts 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit. But a very good run there from David Curtis.
That was really strong. I think there was 2 wheels dropping off at the back, or maybe just one, like
it was
creeping
close,
over the line
yeah,
there.
it was
So
very,
we'll
very
see how
close.
that affects his score. Not
and this is big. This is going to be a big score. And David Curtis not messing around. First qualifying run of the day, throwing it all out there. He's going to be in the 80s. Where does Kyle score him?
Look at that bit of showmanship.
Oh wow, well look at that, an 82. An 82 for David Curtis. And up next, the lady in my eyes that was topping qualifying in practice. Can she make it right now? Can she do it right now on the line, Jolene McDonald?
Everything crossed for her. I love this girl. She's great. She's great out there. So she's got quite a lot of horsepower as well, nearly 700.
Yep, nearly 700. Oh wow, a nice initiation from Jolene McDonald, but she's not on that wide line. She's going to sacrifice out of zone 2. Oh, and she pops a wheel on the curve. This is not looking tidy from McDonald so far. Drops a wheel again over the edge of the track there at 3. Nerves getting to this young lady right now, but she finds herself back online again. Transitions into the middle of the circuit. She just lets that car bog ever so slightly before she gets back on boost, and a big clutch kick onto the wall. Oh, do you know what? I think I put too much trust in her then. I thought she had
putting too much pressure on her.
Yeah.
I love her style though. She's so flamboyant in that car.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Throws it around, and it's yeah,
the commitment, the style of the driving is just insane. And look at this, very low score for Jolene McDonald. That line coming off of the wall mid-track, that's just absolutely destroys. Going 32, so 32 there for Jolene on her first qualifying run. This guy up next. Robbie Bergone in the BMW 1 Series gives a little wave to the camera there on the start line. This guy debuting this car here for the first time this season. It's been a long, hard year of building this car for Robbie Bergone, but he's been putting it to work this morning. Puts it onto the wall. Absolutely astonishing stuff there for Bergone as he now looks for that perfect qualifying line, nice and wide. Drops down and now searches for outer zone 3. A little drag on the handbrake for Bergone as he gets back into it again. And a nice line through the centre of the circuit will set him up perfectly for the final run. He's been flying in practice, and Bergone absolutely flying right now as he puts foot to floor, 1 wheel over the edge of the circuit, but makes it count. And Robbie Bergone, ladies and gentlemen.
That was absolutely fantastic for him, wasn't it?
Very, very nice run. He was another guy that I was watching earlier in practice, and it was a very, very good practice session for him. He had the line dialed. Look at this, another big score coming in. Already first qualifying scores. Can he top qualifying? Brad didn't like it. And where does Kyle score him as we await the score to drop in? And there we go, an 80 for Robbie Begone, the local guy, scores an 80 and moves it along. We get up next Danny Maguire. So Danny Maguire on the line. Nissan Skyline R34. RB25 under the bonnet, 600 horsepower, the gym owner. Coming in hot right now. A little wobble there for Maguire as he looks for outer zone 2. And then Maguire comes off of that clipping point too early. You see him dive across the circuit. He's going to have to work now. He's going to put him on the wrong line. He's going to get to 5 very early. He makes it count. But Danny Maguire not making life easy for himself right now. Nice finish to the run. As Maguire heads back to the start line.
To say he's only been drifting for 3 years, he can drive, can't he?
He can certainly drive. He's a very, very good driver, is Danny Maguire. I think the only problem that lets Danny down is a little bit of seat time and some gremlins inside that car. You know, he spent a lot of time in the off-season completely rebuilding it. And there we go, a 65 for Maguire on his first qualifying run of the day. Move it along, Ash Jones. So Ash Jones now pulls to the line. The production manager. On a BMW E36 has a 1UZ under the bonnet, so a Toyota V8 resides underneath the bonnet of this. Didn't have an opportunity to turbo it, and he said he didn't want to rush the turbo conversion between rounds, so he said I'll just keep going as it is for now and make it work, and at the end of the season I'll give it some more power. But right now Ash Jones doing a very nice job, very, very good line. This guy learned to drive this car with just a 328 with nitrous under the bonnet. And look at the line from Ash Jones, absolutely incredible. Can he get nice and wide out as though he certainly can? The DKM E36 finds the wall, very tidy job there from Ashley Jones. Just going to show you don't always need power. If you get that perfect qualifying line, the track just flows.
He looks comfortable in that car as well, doesn't he? It's probably a good job he didn't make that jump to turbo just yet. Leave it as it is, you know it. Yeah,
some stern advice there from Sarah. Don't worry about a turbo. You don't need a turbo. Just keep going with the V8. That's more than enough.
Like but if he's comfortable in it, why?
Exactly. And a 77 for Ash Jones in his first qualifying run. We move it along. Paul Beachy. Now Beachy struggling with this car at round 1. Looked like he had a little bit too much grip in practice. I had a chat with him. He just said he can't find the flow in this brand new car. Nissan S15, 530 horsepower, SR20. Oh, and again, Beachy just suffering problems with that car at a big straight as he comes into outer zone 3. Nevertheless, it looks amazing.
It does. It looks really well presented, so I'm hoping he can get any niggles ironed out. He's got a lot of potential. Let's hope
he certainly has.
A little bit better next time.
Exactly. I spoke to Paul Beachy in the break earlier, and he said to me, look, the biggest problem with me, I don't drive the car. I literally work, I drive it at BDC, and that's it. Oh, but it will be a 0. That he was, there was a prolonged amount of straightening there for Beachy, so it will be a 0 moving along. Darren Wiles in a PS13. Now, have you met this guy?
Yeah, Darren. Oh, he's fantastic.
How inspiring is Darren Wiles?
Beyond inspirational. He's fantastic. If you get the chance to go around the pits and look at his car, the control setup he's got in that is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You certainly haven't, and for you guys at home, if you've never seen Darren Wiles before, or even in attendance, if you've never come across Darren Wiles, this guy is paralysed from the waist down. He drives this car with hand controls alone. It blows my mind. I can't even walk and talk on the phone at the same time, and this guy manages to drift this car around a circuit. How about that? Everything with hand controls. I mean, how fast does his brain work to be able to control all of that at once? Incredible. And a true inspiration to anyone out there to say, you know what, true grit, I'm not giving up, I'm going to keep going. Exactly. I love this sport, I'm going to keep going. And a huge shout out to the guys at Jay's Garage, Jack Donkin, for building that car. It's phenomenal workmanship, and you know what, for Darren Wiles, he gets in that car and it works flawlessly every single time. Yeah, and right now, yeah, he certainly has. Sarah well pointed out there, he's not on that wide line, but for Darren Wiles, he said to me, yeah, I love to win competitions and I want to be on the podium, but I'm just having fun. I love driving, I love being here, I love the family, I love everything about it. So will he get a score on the board? It's all a bonus for him, isn't it, if he does score well? He really is having fun out there. And as you say, not easy to drive. I struggled to do basic human functions, and a 31 there for Darren Wiles. So hats off to Darren Wiles for doing what he does inside that car. Up next, Ryan Toporowski in that S15, the Hulk-inspired livery car. A Titan Stroker 3.4 2JZ, just a mere 700 horsepower residing on the bonnet of that S15. Not much, is it? Not much at all. For as much as he needs. Certainly is. Ryan Toporowski, another driver that's had a bad year of misfortune in previous years.
and right about now finds his form as he starts to put foot to floor. And Toporowski would like nothing more than to find himself inside that top 32 bracket later on today. But 40-odd drivers are all going head-to-head right now for that spot as Topo takes it across the finish line. So Ryan Toporowski does get a score. It's going to be low. There was a few mistakes there. The biggest one for me after the initiation, he was in the middle of the track. He wasn't nice and wide. And there we go, a 42. So a 42 for Topo. And up next, Matt Fountain.
1GZ in this 500 horsepower Toyota Sora.
Yep, Matt Fountain picking up that Walton Motorsport sponsorship in between round 1 and round 2. And Fountain getting some very, very good seat time at Silverstone the other weekend, and it looks like it's paying off right now for Matt Fountain. And a very tidy job as he transitions down into outer zone 3. You can see him now foot to floor. And it's looking good right now for Fountain as he comes back through 5. Finds that nice wide line all the way to the wall, and Matt Fountain doing a very good job there on his first qualifying run. Will it be enough to top qualify? No. Judges not liking it. Technically, to me, it looked like it was a very good run. Judges not. They're being mean again. Being mean. Harsh, very harsh. A 61 there. A 61 for Matt Fountain. Chris Wright up next in the twin turbo Nissan 350Z. So Chris Wright makes his way out onto circuit. Nice wide line, very good job. But he drops down quite low. You see them 3 painted white lines on the circuit. The judges wanted to see the front wheel just onto those white lines. Didn't want to see guys crossing over them, but a very nice job. I can hear the judges in the background getting super excited about Chris Wright's run so far. This guy, huge amount of talent. He finished up a good run there. 550 horsepower out of that VQ35. Representing Torquin, Abbey Motorsport and Funk Motorsport. Finished 4th place in Drift Cup in 2018. He's got a YouTube channel with 9,000 subscribers, Chris Drift, and he built the whole car himself.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
If you go on there, you know what, a true... he's very, very good. 64 there for Chris Wright. Yeah, that guy taught himself how to weld and built that whole car himself. And look at that. We don't call him Colgate for no reason. Up next on the line, it will be Lee Lawrence, Mr. Smiley. Now, this guy was nailing the qualifying line from the first run of practice today. So this one should be good. Lee Lawrence makes his way off the line, 400 horsepower, SR20 resides under the bonnet, it's S14. And look at that, split screen right now. Lawrence absolutely smashing that qualifying line. You see him drop down massively though there. He needed to stay a little bit wider. It's going to bring him shallow into outer zone 3. Gets back into it though. Oh, what a massive error for Lawrence.
Up a bit there, that's not good. He's been so consistent, even through yesterday's practice as well. I actually went out with him, and yeah, that boy can drive.
He certainly can, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a relatively low power car as well, 400 horsepower. Yeah, so he's really having to drive it and being quite aggressive with it to get it in the right position.
Exactly. I don't think there'll be a 0. I think that's going to be quite a low score for Lee Lawrence. It was a big wobble, but it wasn't a prolonged amount of straightening. So, yeah, look at this, a 25.
At least he's got something on the board though.
He certainly has, yeah, he's one on the board, but 40 plus drivers this weekend. Oh, and Kyle scored it a 0. So Kyle Chisholm scored it a 0. Wow, the new judge not messing around. There's a 16 there for Lee Lawrence. Lisa Branch now on the line, struggling with this car at round 1. A few mishaps, but got it back together again.
Lisa's been drifting for quite a while, hasn't she?
She certainly has.
I think. Yeah.
She certainly has.
But not much in competition. She's still relatively new to that.
But Lisa Branch finds that perfect qualifying line. Look, nice and high. Just to see that wheel just ever so slightly over there. Oh, but she finds herself shallow on 3, yeah. And Lisa Branch now puts foot to floor, and again shallow on outer zone 4.
It just sets you up wrong, doesn't it? If you miss that point, that transition point into 3, you've missed a lot then, really, haven't you? It's
exactly.
So hard to pull it back.
Exactly that. The track just doesn't flow. If you get fall offline ever so slightly, you're not going to claim it back, and then it just kind of puts you massively wrong for the rest of the circuit. Lisa will put a score on the board, but it will be low. That's mid-pack. It's going to be mid-pack. I thought it was going to be lower than that, yeah.
Too bad.
And a 47 there for Lisa Branch. Up next, Sean Chesham, S15. So the Aerotech representing Price Engineering, Turbo Smart AET turbos, Nissan S15 1UZ turbo, 500 horsepower. He put the turbo on. He said, I'm going to have the V8, I'm going to have the turbo, I'm going to put it on this. This is what I want the turbo option.
I like that. So the V8's not enough?
Just not enough.
What we're going to do? Yeah,
what we're going to do, put turbo on it. We have 500 horsepower as Chesham now makes his way up for the initiation. Nice and deep in the outer zone 1, and a very good line. Oh, but it could be too wide, almost 2 wheels over. And he drops down. A lot of these guys, they get into the outer zone 2, and then they're making a huge mistake of darting across the circuit. Those 3 white lines painted on the circuit, judges wanted to see the front wheels of the car on that white line. You could see them go under the middle of Chesham's car. So although this run finishes off in a very, very nice way, that's going to hurt the score. You know, that's what judges are going to be knocking points down on. So we await Sean Chesham's score to drop in. Yeah, and again, another mid-pack score for Chesham. Kyle just taking his time. Probably score at a 0 knowing Kyle. A 44 there for Sean Chesham. Super grumpy he is, yeah. Up next, Nerigis, the man that spent the last few days building this car, and Justinus Norcas, a guy that drives in Drift Cup, actually built this engine. I went on Facebook, he was still up at 4 AM building this engine for Nerigis to get here this weekend, and Nerigis absolutely flying right now, and you can hear him foot to floor. Gets nice and wide on that qualifying line, but again, another driver dropping down those 3 lines. It sets him up wrong for outer zone 3.
And then you're wrong for 4 as well, because you're not in the right line coming out of 3.
He's certainly not. He manages to get it back on some form of line, though, but Nerigis has hurt his score massively and completely sacrifices that final outer zone 6. You know what? For him, getting here and doing a qualifying run would be, you know, worth all those hours and all that hard work.
It won't, when you put all of that into it, and you're doing that, not even a late night, is it? It's an early morning shift.
It's an all-dayer, an all-nighter.
Absolutely. He'll be grateful of every point he gets here.
Oh, and he's, forgot to mention, he's part of the Lunatic School, which is obviously teamed up. Yeah, he's teamed up with Aramis Vaskelis, the
says a lot,
absolute insane Lithuanian. So we're just waiting for Gaz's score to drop in for Nerigis' first qualifying run of the day, and then we go at 57, so a 57 for Nerigis. We move along Willie Hanna. Now Willie Hanna, we spoke to, he's a mechanic, and they said they actually snapped the input shaft on the gearbox yesterday in practice, doing 4th gear clutch kicks.
Well, you know, it's just what happens every day at Driftland, isn't it?
It's just a normal day at Driftland.
And he's back out, and that's what we want to see.
And they went away, they fixed that car, they came back, and they said, yeah, no, we know we went wrong. We're not going to do 4th gear clutch kicks anymore. I said that was, you know, it was just a little bit too much stress on the car.
That's what's great about this championship, though. Nobody gives up.
Nobody gives up.
You've got a problem, you fix it, you rally round.
You keep
order
going.
Parts overnight from DPD or wherever it was from.
Japan. Overnight parts from Japan.
And then they could, you know, carry on.
Oh, so Willie Hanna is backing up off the line. Oh, he's going to scrub his tyres. So he's just going to scrub the tyres on that car before he does it.
Oh, we weren't going to see him.
No. It does look like the car is working. You see our Starlight Marshall down there, Melks, ready to give him the thumbs up. And Willie Hanna, will make the first qualifying runner of the day for him. And he's absolutely flying nice and close to the wall goes Hanna. This could be a very good run. Can he get nice and deep into that outer zone? It just about drops a wheel on it. You can really work in that car. There's Willie Hanna representing Tarmac Sports and OP Oils. RB25 and they've got 300 horsepower. And you can hear him really working the car. And Hanna finishes off the run, and you know what, for him, another guy that'll be just absolutely over the moon to get a qualifying run in the bag.
They will, and I think that was pretty tidy, that.
It certainly was. Look at this, a 70 straight away from Brad.
Oh, we're agreeing with them.
We'll agree with them. A 67 from Gaz. Where does Kyle find that qualifying score for Willie Hanna? And there we go, a 68.6 for Willie Hanna on his first qualifying run. Up next, Charles Funnell. Sits on the line, Toyota AE86 SR20 under the bonnet, ex-Irish Drift Championship car, but he stalls it off the line as he broken down. Oh, and problems for Charles Funnell. Wow, so problems for Charles Funnell. And I was just going to say the ex-Irish Drift Championship car of Chris Brady. Chris Brady piloted this car in Ireland for a number of years. An absolute weapon of a vehicle. Charles Funnell said, you know what, that car works, it's got on the podium, I know what I'll do, I'll just buy it, yeah, because it works. So there will be a 0 for...
it's been working great all morning as well, and yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. It's been flying. And it was flying yesterday, maybe a little bit too much. Maybe the car said, hey,
I've had enough now.
that'll do. 2 days of drifting. We'll call that quits. We'll knock that on the end before it's too late. We move along to Magic. But, it's going to get me, innit? Blazewski.
I reckon that's pretty close.
That's pretty close. Maciek Blazewski on the line. Nissan S14.
2JZ, 620 horsepower, and this is his first year in competitive drifting as well.
Well, so there we go. First year of competitive drifting. He's from Krakow in Poland, but lives in Ireland. Well, there we go. How about that? A Polishman living in Ireland, competing in the UK. He's got a busy life.
He must spend a lot on fuel.
He certainly does. Representing GT Tuning, BM Transport, PowerMax Engineering, Enniskillen Tyre Centre, Restyling Centre, JMB Auto Care, and Macquarie Engineering. So we just await to get Maciek off the line. Our start line, Marshall Malks just checking that Charles Funnell there didn't drop any oil. That could have been potentially a gearbox or a differential problem. We're just going to wait to find out. And it was a drive shaft there for Charles Funnell. So Charles Funnell's pit crew is down there now trying to change that drive shaft. He has got, you know, quite a bit of time to go before he has to be back up for his second qualifying run. Luckily enough, he's high enough up in the order, but off the line now we see Maciek. So nice initiation from Maciek, but he didn't get nice and deep into outer zone 1. That's going to hurt his line. You can see him there have to recorrect on the handbrake to get out to 2. Puts his foot to floor and he goes over. He goes over. I think that was 2 wheels off, Sarah. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So that could potentially be a 0 there for Maciek as he finishes up the run. Nevertheless. Yeah, and look at that, a 0.
The rest of the run was not too bad actually, was it? Really?
No, very, very good run, yeah, apart from that.
The back there.
But you can't be dropping wheels, so
it's tough competition.
It's very tough competition.
There's a lot of good drivers out there.
There certainly is.
It's going to cost you.
Oh, well, look at that on the floor. Charles Funnell's gear drive shaft cup is just sitting there waiting for a helping hand. Up next, we do see the part-time rockstar Carl Farrar driving that Mazda RX-8 2JZ under the bonnet. Sorry, a 1.5 JZ, 500 horsepower. Full-time rockstar, part-time drift taxi driver. If that isn't the best job going, I don't even know what is.
Do you have any openings? Can we
get? Is there a position to be filled there at Farrar's workshop? Look at that, nice and wide. And Farrar gets that car on the other side of those dotted lines. And Farrar was doing a very good job listening to his spotters in practice earlier on. Teaming up with Hayden Quickshank. He certainly has, yeah. Judges going to reward him a little bit for being wide because of how committed he is. He takes it to the wall, and Farrar, nice job there for Carl Farrar on his first qualifying run. Will he get rewarded for it though?
Tough to say.
Tough to say. Oh, what is a 0? So wheels off. I didn't see that. I didn't see that one coming. So judges
seen more than we have.
Yes, certainly have. That's why they've got camera angles that we haven't got.
Yeah.
They've got all the inside information. Up next, Paulius Judicious, the Nissan Skyline R33 representing TH Components, a Rapid Design, Turbo Systems, Navan Auto Parts and Tyre Hanger. So finished up qualified fourth, sorry, at round 1. Finished up inside the top 16. He's going to be looking to better that result this weekend as Paulius Judicious now comes off the line. Fails to get to the outer zone 1. That's going to hurt his line. He just about fails to get, just about gets to the edge of outer zone 2. Now he's over 3. The very scrappy line. He's hurt his line massively. Although this scored this weekend on 10 points per clipping point. As he said, you will only be rewarded the points for those clipping areas if you actually manage to get on a decent line into him. You can't just, dart into him and then fall offline again. So that's going to hurt his score massively as we see Paulius Judicious' score coming. Another member of the Lunatic School.
Winning Lunatics back again.
They certainly are. 37 there for Paulius. So a lot of guys scoring a 0 though. So this could be tight down the bottom end of things. David S. Petruskas now sits on the line. BMW E46. Look at him. He's ready to party.
He's been going really, really well in practice.
And this has only got a couple of 100 horsepower, right?
Nearly 800.
Wow.
Don't need much more than that, surely.
Don't need much more than that.
Everything you need.
Yeah, BMW 328 Turbo, 739 horsepower, representing Autofab TH Components or Red Cow tyres. And that's more like it. As we see David S. Oh, but he's wide.
Yeah.
He's very, very wide.
Too wide there.
And this potentially a 0 for David S. As he absolutely smokes out Driftland right now, puts foot to floor. And apart from that, that was a very, very good run there from
He's a confident driver, isn't he?
Oh, he's certainly
He's a really
confident.
driver. It's only his second season in competitive drifting now, so maybe he's feeling a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it could be some
definitely
nerves, you know, he's
confident.
definitely confident, definitely someone to keep your eye on as we move forward in competition in 2019. What did the judges think of that one, though? They're going to be deliberating that one ever so slightly. Was it a 0? And that's a true fact. I'll let you read that out in a minute.
Okay.
So just waiting for the score there to drop in for Devidas Petrousis. Oh, and a 75.3, so 75 it does score. The judges
should be happy with that.
saying just one wheel dropped off the edge of the circuit there. We move along to Stu Jones, and you've got an interesting fact about Stu Jones.
Well, I've got a couple of interesting facts about Stu Jones. However, one of the facts is he can drink a bottle of wine in 5 seconds. Or he claims he can. I reckon afterwards we should
Sunday night when everyone's finished driving, we'll test him.
Done,
We'll test him. We'll see if he can do it. Off the line, Stu Jones, 500 horsepower, 1UZ turbo. He decided to go for the turbo option. That was a wild initiation from Jones. He just about made it pay off. And the plumbing and heating engineer absolutely dancing with the devil there, and almost drops the wheel over the edge of the circuit. Representing competition clutch and trace tyres. Puts foot to floor, looking good right now is Stu Jones as he takes it to the wall, representing Slide Motorsport.
Well, I saw everything but clipping 0.5 because of the score.
It was just maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Smoke the track out, and then you can't see what's going on, and you just fluke it. Yeah. So a very nice score so far coming in for Stu Jones. Does Gaz Taylor agree? And there we go, a 72. So a 72 for Stu Jones' first qualifying run. Up next to Saville. And this car, you know, slightly underpowered for competition.
Again, a tiny car with massive power. A86 with 800 horsepower, 4-litre engine.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know,
why not?
Do it,
if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. Yeah, the 2017 RDC champion sits on the line representing Renegade Race Fuels, Westlake Tyres, APW Engineering, and Hugh Lewis Tyres.
And he's definitely got some driving behind him, hasn't he? 2017 RDC champion.
Not only that, I do believe that Hugh Saville comes from a rallying background.
I wonder if that stands you in good stead then. I bet you're confident.
Very confident.
It's a completely different sport,
kind of, still kind of, you know, get the car on, oversteer every now and then. Scandi flick. He certainly does. And a nice initiation there for Hugh Saville. He gets nice and wide there. He gets that little Corolla nice and tidy to the line there. Looking good so far. As Hugh Saville transitions in outside 5. Look at that nice wide line. He's going to be rewarded for this, and the commitment absolutely flying as Saville takes it across the finish line. A very, very tidy job there from Hugh Saville. I reckon that could be enough to top qualifying.
I think it's a possibility. He's a very confident driver, very capable.
So,
I think he's got it in him.
Scores drop in. Look at this. It's going to be a good one. Can it top qualifying? What does Kyle say? And an 87. Look at that. An 85. An 85. And Hugh Saville tops qualifying at the moment. Just 6 more drivers to go. Up next is Louis Edwards. Now this guy, probably one of the most underpowered cars on the grid, but yet he technically earlier in practice had the best qualifying line I've seen. M3 3.2 Evo under the bonnet, 340 horsepower, just 17 years old. The apprentice mechanic puts the car on the wall. Look at this. And this guy never fails to blow me away with his driving skill, as Louis Edwards finds the absolute perfect qualifying line. Judges loving this one so far, and hear him in the background cheering Louis Edwards on. Look at the line from Edwards as he now transitions back into 5. Can he find that wide outer line? He's on a mid-track, but he's going to get nice and close to the wall. And Louis Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. The future of UK drifting is strong.
Definitely. He is one to watch, isn't he?
He certainly is right now.
He's so impressive. I'm 17.
17 years old.
He drives like that.
Yeah, representing Alitalia Wrexham, King Automotive, and Learn to Drift.
And he's an apprentice mechanic as well, so he can fix it if he breaks it.
This could be a good score. 85 so far from Kyle, and 88 from Brad. He likes what he sees there. What does Gaz Taylor score him? An 8. I think he got that wrong there ever so slightly.
Typo.
So we will wait to get the rectified score there of Louis Edwards off the line now. Luke Barker, though, the man that everyone's talking about right now in Ireland. Can he top qualifying? Whoa, look at this from Barker. Oh!
He's straightened up.
And problems with that car. We spoke to him earlier and they showed us the damaged exhaust wheel on the back of that turbo.
That was a pretty bad state, wasn't it?
And yeah, it's saying making no boost whatsoever. He pulls to the back of the line. We're going to wait to find out exactly what happened there from Luke Barker. Is he plagued in the UK and just gets good fortune when he goes to Ireland? I hope not. I'd like to see Luke Barker do well in the UK. But that will be a 0 for Barker's first qualifying run. Though up next, we obviously make it official. Team Top Gun. If that's not, you know, putting your name out there, I don't know what it is. Up next, Paul Cunnington now. Paul Cunnington finished 4th at round 1. And he said he was bitter that he missed out on the podium. He almost could taste that champagne. He said, this round I'm coming for it. I'm going to stick this car onto the wall and on the doors. Well, Cunnington needs to put his money where his mouth is right now. So Paul Cunnington comes off the line, nice flick initiation there, just a little dab of the handbrake, sets himself up perfect, but a little wobble and he's sacrificing line now massively, drops way off the outer zone 2. Cunnington does find himself back into the outer zone 3, but he is going to have hurt his score massively now as he transitions back into 5, looks for that wide line, he certainly finds it, but again just drops off ever so slightly, finds the wall and across the line, and Cunnington there. And we're getting some info in our headsets just a minute ago, so we can confirm that the score for Louis Edwards was an 84, so he currently sits second in qualifying. So Louis Edwards scored an 84, sits second in qualifying. Where does Paul Cunnington drop in, representing Skid Risk?
53?
And a 53 there for Paul Cunnington.
That's not what he's going to be wanting, is it?
No, he's going to be wanting to be way up the order. Yeah. Third place finisher at round 1, Martin Cowley, this Nissan S14. He had someone drive 4 hours to go and get him tyres so he could compete on the Sunday. Will he make it to Sunday this weekend? He was looking strong in qualifying. This guy, a very talented driver, but doesn't get all the way out to the wall. Maybe he's holding him back ever so slightly, but he's nice and wide to the line now. Mike Cowley dials on the angle. Oh, but a big error and sacrifices 3. This is not looking good for Cowley. Oh, it looks like he's off track ever so slightly as well there.
Really well, and then he just kind of missed. He was too shallow, you know, and that's again thrown off his line completely for the rest of the run.
He kind of panicked as well after that. It was like he started throwing big angle at it, trying to get that car back onto a line and try and claw some sort of points back. But it will be a 0. It will be a 0 for Martin Cowley. So not the way Cowley would have started off, but wanted to start off his round 2 in any means. Up next, Nick Brady sits on the line. Nissan Skyline on R33 after a year of heartbreak for Nick Brady. It's so good to see this guy finally back on form. I know the guys down in Kent will be, you know, shouting at the live stream, watching on as they see Nick Brady representing Jason's Metals come off the line. Westlake tyres on the back of this car. And Brady not scared to put car to wall, and he almost gets contact. As Brady puts foot to floor now, you can see him drops down again, another driver just dropping down those 3 dotted lines, denoting where the judges want to see him. But look at this from Brady, very wide, almost stalls the car, but just about keeps in it, puts a little bit of left foot braking into it. Now Brady looks for that wide line, certainly finds it, as once again he heads to the wall and across the line, and scrappy, but
a little bit scrappy, but he's got a lot of potential.
It's got a lot of potential there. Brady really has got a lot of potential there.
To find his groove with it.
So it looks like a mid-pack score at the moment coming in for Nick Brady. So there we go, a 44 for Nick Brady. And up next, your championship leader in his spare car, Josh King now sits on the line. 650 horsepower BMW M50. No, that's the wrong car. That is the wrong car.
That's his original.
That's his original car. That's the one he killed at Silverstone. Yeah, that's the one he would have wanted in, the one he feels confident in. Can Josh King? Oh wow, Josh King not messing around, sticks the back end of that E34 BMW on the wall. The King there, you could just see him dropping down off the edge of the circuit, but he finds his way back onto line now though, Sarah.
It's not going to affect this though.
No, looks like Josh King, this is why he's your championship leader. He's not messing around, absolutely flying right now is Josh King. Can he top qualifying? As King puts car to wall and across the finish line. Incredible stuff there from Josh King in his spare car. So what did the judges think of that one? A little wobble you could see in the middle of the circuit. They just dropped down. You pointed that out straight away. Eagle eye now you are. Eagle eye. You're getting there. You're like, look at that. He's offline.
He saved it well though.
He did. It's hurt his score a little bit. And there we go. Looks like a score coming in for Josh King. And then we go at 72, so a 72 puts him into 8th position at the moment. And before we go back to the start line and start this all off again, as you can see, Stuart Arsley there sitting on the line. You can see currently topping qualifying, Hugh Saville, currently followed up by Louis Edwards, David Curtis, Bagone, Jones, David Pastruskas, Stu Jones, Josh King, Willie Hanna and Dominic Gates. They are your top 10 qualifiers at the moment. As we move it down, you can see Rob Johnson in the mix, Matt Fountain in 15th position. We'll be running the top 32, so 15, 16, though you know those guys. Now, these are mid-pack scores. This is what we're looking at. Will Gibbs there, 68. Paul Cunnington down with a 53. Ardsley with a 21. Cowley down there, look, just about scrapes in. We've got a lot of zeros, so there is a lot of zeros to go. So a lot of guys, you know, not in the mix. 32nd place at the moment is Cole Farrell, but as you can see, so many guys sitting on a zero at the moment.
I think this track is really testing people, especially that little downhill gradient after coupling two. It's really testing everybody.
Oh, it's all right, I've got it on there now. It just popped up. Let's show us. Yeah. So there we go. You can see a view from our grid and a view from our live drone. I don't want to say it, but it's getting cold.
It's getting a bit windy up here, isn't it?
And I don't like it when it gets cold and windy, because it only means one thing.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say the word.
I'm not going to say the word. Someone said the word earlier in briefing, and they were kicked out. Kicked out of briefing. Lisa Branch. Lisa Branch, that was, yeah. No messing around. No holding back here. No old name Shane. It's not. I'm not one.
Might as well. Pop a name in the shame.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
She brought it up. You know, you just can't be throwing that word around at a drift event like that.
You can't. No, it's tempting fate, isn't it?
Certainly is. So it does look like we're almost ready to go back to the line.
There's a lot of drivers out there who've got a lot to play for now with this run.
Well, the way you've got to play this out now is if you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know what, I've got like a 50-odd point score and I'm safe for top 32 competition later on this afternoon. You can't think that because we've got a lot of guys sitting on a zero. We've probably got at least 10 guys on a zero and some of our top drivers sitting on a zero. So
yeah. This next run, they might ace it.
Yeah.
And that puts them right up the
If
table
6 or 7 of those guys come flying in and score, you know, a high 60, a 70, even an 80, it's going to, you know, completely change the way that the qualifying lays at the moment. For me, I'd say Hugh Savile's probably pretty confident up there with an 85, but he's going to want to improve on that. We're going to want to see some of these guys in at least the 90s. Jolene McDonald will be definitely wanting to be climbing up the order, that's for sure. There it is, look, the live stream crew, they're dancing with the devil, a chance of rain, drizzle starting in 30 minutes. So you know what that means, don't you, right? You know exactly what that means. That means we're going to do qualifying.
Yeah.
We're going to send our pro practice out. So for you guys here in attendance, you'll get to see that. You'll get to see a glimpse of what tomorrow is going to offer. Unfortunately, you guys at home watching the live feed, well, you're going to be slightly delayed. So you're going to be watching this while our pro practice is going on. These guys are all going to go back into the pits, and then they're going to set their cars up for wet weather. But yet nobody here who practiced yesterday, there was an open practice day here, nobody has driven here in Driftland in the wet this year. So that means, we did speak about it earlier in the briefing, but we're going to have to clarify it. I'm just going to put it out there now. But we did say that we would give these guys one sighting lap before the battle in top 32. So we're going to let them guys do like a practice run just to make sure they fill the car out, make sure the tyre pressures are all good and they're ready to rock and roll. And it looks like we are ready to rock and roll back on the start line. Tony Morgan now sits on the line. He is desperate to qualify. He wants the BDC licence. He scored a 0 on his first qualifying run. What can he score on his second? He needs to be mid-pack at least. And again, Morgan's car just not playing ball. He's broken a drive shaft. He's broken a drive shaft off the start line.
He's going to be absolutely gutted. This is not.
And you can tell, look, just spinning one wheel, just spinning the driver's side wheel. So unfortunately for Tony Morgan, there will be another 0. And you. So yeah, Tony Morgan there breaking a drive shaft to make his way back off track. Yeah, these Drift Cup drivers, they need to qualify, so they get this option. They have to finish in the top 8 of Drift Cup in the seeded class. They then get the option to come to BDC. They then have to qualify. They have to qualify to gain a BDC Pro-Am license. Unfortunately, Tony Morgan not making the grade. Up next, Matt Roberts. He comes off the start line. Another driver looking to score a point here this weekend. Whoa! And Matt Roberts not messing around this time. Throws the car to the wall, but you can just tell that car is so underpowered. And Matt Roberts there, prolonged amount of straightening and understeer, and I'm willing to say that is going to be a 0 for Matt Roberts, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's dropped off again there, hasn't he? It's a little bit of a scrappy run.
And Matt Roberts finishes up his run. Such a shame. It was absolutely flying the other weekend at Drift Cup at the Adrian Flux Arena in Kings Lynn. But this weekend wasn't supposed to happen for him, unfortunately. Matt Roberts.
To be on this one.
Nope. And we move it along. Up next, Stuart Ardsley. Now, he did get a score on his first qualifying run. I'm going to try and find out what that was in a second. As you can see, Jack Wooten getting removed from the circuit. So it was a 53 for Stuart Ardsley in his first qualifying run. So he's got a score on the ball.
He'll be hoping to better that though.
He certainly will. But Jack Wooten problems. Did he score on his first qualifying run? Let's just have a quick. Jack Wooten, yeah, he did a 63. So he's got a mid-pack score. So he's potentially in the show. But he is up in 2 cars' time. So what is ever wrong with that car, they need to get that car fixed as quick as possible. If Wooten stands a chance of making competition later on today as he gets removed off track. Give him a round of applause, ladies, here, and agenda. I'll get it out at the end. Give him a round of applause if you're here in attendance. Show some appreciation. As we see Stuart Ardsley now make his way for his second qualifying run of the day. And Ardsley on a very nice line at the moment. Nice and deep. You see that front wheel over those 3 dotted lines. He's looking good for Ardsley at the moment. Puts foot to floor. 335 horsepower being unleashed from the M3 power plant under the bonnet. Look at the line from Ardsley as he gets nice and deep in the outer zone. The local guy has come to play with the big boys here at BDC. Just about catches the edge of that box and takes it across the line. There's some supporters in the house for Stuart Ardsley.
Stuart out there.
So, and there we go. Yeah. They'll make some noise. When we make him, we'll save him for the minute.
He does deserve that, though.
He does, yeah. So he scored a 53 on his first qualifying run. Where's he scored a second? A 50. So not as nice as what it was on his first, but nevertheless, he could find himself in the show. Will Gibbs up next, a 68 on his first qualifying run. And a nice, and he's onto the wall. He's onto the wall, but it's affected his line. And Gibbs now finds himself in the middle of the circuit. He's completely sacrificed the line and just misjudged that initiation. You can see now where the line is so important. He completely sacrifices those clipping points, gets deep into outer zone 4, finds himself back on it now. But that incident with the wall on initiation is going to have hurt his score massively.
Definitely. Another 17-year-old driver with a lot of talent.
Yeah, 1.5 JZ under the bonnet, 580 horsepower and 68, as we mentioned, on his first qualifying run. I can only imagine it's going to be nowhere near that on his second. So, as the judges just deliberate their score, massive thank you to our sponsors. Obviously, without those guys, none of it would be possible. Slide Motorsport, AM Details, Funk Motorsport, MTX Brakes, Samco Sports, Simpson, Yellow Speed, OBP Motorsport, Competition Clutch, and a 46, so a 46, yeah, massively hurt. He scored also thank you to Corbo as well. So off the line, Stephen Fitzgerald. He did get a score on the board, and this looks a lot tidier from the Irishman at the moment. Oh, but he washed his way down. Yeah.
So now he's too shallow into...
He does get nice and deep into outer zone 3, but he had to sacrifice a lot of line and make a lot of corrections to get there. He's going to transition back. He's back on a nice line now, but that washing away from outer zone 2 is going to hurt his score. And yeah, just finishing up our sponsors. A massive thank you to Corbo, Tarmac Sports, and obviously the man of the day for me, Hell Performance down there in the pit, Steve, offering a free service to any of our drivers that need any sort of line making or anything, any service he can provide, he will do it for free. Outstanding guy, outstanding company. As we see the score there for Stephen Fitzgerald dropping in. And it will be a 56, so just under. So pretty consistent there for Stephen Fitzgerald. So Jack Wooten is out. There will be a 0 on his second qualifying run. Not sure if he will make a competition later on. A 63, I'm pretty sure he's confident and safe. But we will find out later on. Philip Hayden now up next. Ed Sheeran lookalike, the pizza delivery guy. Oh, sacrifices clipping point 1. And you can see the back end of that little BMW bouncing up and down as he gets nice and deep into outside 2. Little left foot brake from Hayden. And there's a nice line now from Hayden. He's starting to pull it back together again as Hayden puts foot to floor. Just 350 horsepower underneath the bonnet of this E36 compact. And Hayden absolutely screaming as he takes that car to the wall and across the line. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The student and ex-pizza delivery guy. Did he get sacked? That's what happened. He got sacked because the garlic bread and the pizza toppings were everywhere, and the bottle of Coke was so fizzy you couldn't even open it.
Garlic sauce all over the
Garlic sauce everywhere. His car was wrecked. Everyone was angry. Look at this. A nice score coming in from Philip Hayden. Judges liking what they're seeing. And a 75 there for Philip Hayden.
It's definitely improvement on his
Moves
first
himself
run.
way up the order. Yeah, he's inside the top 10. He'll be happy with that. Rob Johnson up next. 60 on his first qualifying run. Now this guy, from previous years, he either goes sensible or retarded. He just doesn't know the level, and this could potentially be amazing or into the wall. Oh, and Johnson has an issue there, and he goes majorly wide. What did I say? He knows no control, does Rob Johnson, the plant engineer. Now finds his way back on circuit, 500 horsepower underneath the bonnet. And that will be 2 wheels off track, so I'm assuming that'll be a 0, representing Team Washloo. He's reckless, that's what he is.
He's wild, isn't he?
Yeah, he's wild. He's just uncontrollable. He had a massive beard the other day. He looked like he'd been homeless, living in the wild for 4 years, and he's just come out of the wilderness to drive his race car.
Did he still got the beard?
He got told to shave it off.
He shaved it off, okay. There he is, yeah, you can see him.
Yeah.
That's a bit smarter, isn't it?
He's much smarter now. A 60 on his first qualifying run. Where does Washloo's very own Rob Johnson come in? Judges liking it.
He's definitely going to get points for commitment.
So he definitely is going to get points for commitments at a 67 for Johnson. And I assumed wheels off, that would be a 0, but no, Johnson proves me wrong. Up next, Dominic Gates.
The borrowed Skyline as well.
So yeah, the borrowed Nissan Skyline Dominic Gates. You can hear him absolutely bashing that rev limiter as Dominic Gates puts foot to floor. We're just finding out there off of our official scorer, adjudicator, Alonso in the tower, what Dominic Gates' first qualifying run was. That's a nice line to the wall and dangerously close to taking off some body panels. So 68 on his first run, a very, very good score there for Dominic Gates. So judges like it even more than his first qualifying run. Some good scores dropping in for Gates. Can he get himself inside the top 10? He certainly can. 10th place, a 69. So a 69 there for Dominic Gates, moves him into 10th position at the moment. He'll be happy with that. Chris Gerard now, he sits on a 0.
So he's got it all to play for.
He certainly has. He took the rear bumper off the car in the first qualifying run. He really needs to pull his socks up and make this one count. I hear him working that car already. RB20 under the bonnet. Oh, but again, that
Just
car.
to say, it was a better line. It was.
It was. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
The initiation was nice. He was nice and deep into outer zone 1, and it just sounded to me like the car was like, no, not today. Yeah.
Too shallow.
He finds his form now, though, does Chris Gerard. And it was massively offline. Can he do enough just to score and get himself inside top 32? So scores dropping in, a 0 on his first. Judges liking it, but it's way down the order. And 27 for 36, so it's going to be a tentative wait there for Chris Gerard. Whether he makes it inside competition later on or not. Up next, David Curtis. He scored an 82. So you know what happens when a driver scores a good score in the first qualifying run?
Relaxes probably. And
They've got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. They've got nothing to lose. That means normally they're willing to risk it all to top qualifying. Off the line, David Curtis. Can he go all out on top qualifying? He's very close to the wall. Drags the spoiler on the wall. Absolutely astonishing from Curtis at the moment. You can see him. No regard to the rear end of that S14 as he puts foot to floor at TH Components. Absolutely dragging around the circuit. It's a perfect line at the moment. Can he hold on to it? It almost falls off track. Just about manages to get into outer zone 3 now. 4, sorry, as he now fires it back onto that wide line. Curtis puts foot to floor. Once again, he's going to take that car to the wall and across the line. And Curtis absolutely flying and no regard whatsoever to any part of his vehicle.
See, isn't it?
That's what we come to see. That is what we come to see. That's why there's a wall here at Driftland, so people can bounce their cars off of it. Do the judges reward it? There was a few tiny mistakes there from Curtis.
It was a little shallow into 5, but that.
Yeah, judges just mark him down there. Yeah, he kind of stalled up on the transition from 3 to 4. He slowed the car down quite a lot, and then as he went to the wall for 6, kind of bailed out of it, and there we go, a 76 on his second qualifying run. He stays where he is in 3rd place. We move it on. Jolene McDonald now. We put a little bit too much pressure on this young lady earlier on.
I keep putting the pressure on because I just keep doing my love for her, really.
A 32.
It's fantastic. Let's hope this one's a little bit better and a bit more in Jojo's character.
Oh, it certainly looks like it's going to be, but she's one wheel over the edge of the circuit. Oh, dips a wheel into the gravel. Does Jolene McDonald, as you can see there now, this is looking a lot tidier now as she starts to find her feet. And Jolene puts foot to floor, that fast R. E92 BMW M3. 2JZ under the bonnet. Oh, but she sacrifices 6.
All together.
Do you know what? I think the biggest thing for Jolene is she suffers with nerves. Yeah. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to have a chat with her later and find out if that's true. I think that she gets nervous in qualifying.
It would make sense to what we've seen there.
Because in practice, she was absolutely flying, and just unfortunately in qualifying, she just, doesn't seem to be able to make it happen. We await to find out her second qualifying score of the day. And it was all good up until that point. She dipped a wheel and she sacrificed 6. Can she better her run? Will she come alive in battles? Will she be one of these drivers that really comes alive in battles? Oh, and look at that, it's a 0. So she sits at the moment in 28th position. She could potentially be knocked out of competition if we get some more scoring drivers coming through. Robbie Bagone now, he sits with an 80 after his first qualifying run. He's going to be super confident in that car. Brand new chassis for Bagone. He screams through the gears. That BMW won him. Oh, puts it to the wall. No messing around for Bagone as he now finds the perfect edge of the circuit. Judges clapping, but he drops the wheel in the middle of the circuit there. He's slightly offline. Bagone now finds his form once again, puts foot to floor as Robbie Bagone, the local guy, says, you know what, this is my town. You're coming to mess it in my party, or I'm going to show you how to party. He puts his foot down one more time, and Bagone takes it back to the wall across the line. Now that is what I'm talking about. Robbie Bagone.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Amazing run.
What a statement from Robbie Bagone. Yeah, I mean, that was incredible stuff from Robbie Bagone there. Does he get rewarded?
Watching him,
incredible. I know how much time and effort Robbie Bagone put into that car. I see him at Autosport International, not this year, last year, and he said, look at my car. He showed me some photos. He was pouring his heart and soul into that car, and it showed. And you know what a machine it is. A flawless. Look at this. Can he top his second qualifying run? Judge is not liking it as much as 78. A 78.
He's consistent.
But he's very consistent indeed. Danny Maguire now up next. Maguire comes off the line and scores a 65 on his first qualifying run. I want a big lift off on initiation, but nevertheless, Maguire gets deep into the gravel on a huge straight. And the new, I must comment on one thing. The new catch net here at Driftland is stopping the stones in the tower. And it's.
It wasn't earlier on.
Yeah, there's a few on the floor in here. That's Danny Maguire. Puts foot to floor, finishes up his run. Be interested to see how the judges score that one if they deemed that to be way off track. Was that 2 wheels off track? And yeah, look at that, 2 wheels off track. Will be a 0 for Danny Maguire on his second qualifying run. Up next.
When you see what he can do as well.
Yeah, we've seen him in practice. He was flying earlier in practice.
That one little mistake just ruins that run for you, doesn't it?
It was weird because he kind of lifted off the throttle before initiated, so it was kind of like the car wanted to lurch forward when he initiated. It was fluid. Ash Jones now sits on the line of 77. Representing Team Slide Motorsport.
DKM Clutch as well. If you couldn't tell by looking at it.
If you couldn't tell, yeah, DKM's Clutch sponsored.
It's a good looking livery, isn't it?
Yeah, the production manager representing Slide Motorsport, DKM Clutch, BMW or E36, 1UZ under the bonnet. And a very nice job so far. Look at that, nice and tidy, perfect line to the edge of the circuit. Now, one driver that did find that outer line, did get them wheels on the opposite side of that white line. He's going to be rewarded for this massively. It's a very nice line at the moment from Ash Jones. It doesn't have the impact that some of the other guys have had, but what a technical drive from Ashley Jones at the moment as he puts it to the wall and across the line. Incredible stuff there from Ashley Jones. Technically, that was almost perfect.
It was a little shallow in 5, but maybe I've seen a different angle. Let's see what the judges say. See if I've got it right.
So a 77, can he top his first qualifying run? Cole not liking it?
Maybe they didn't see what I saw.
No. At a split judging panel there, you can see completely split scores, and he moves in a 70, so a 70 there for his second qualifying run of the day. And for Ash Jones, we move it along to Paul Beachy. Now he sits on a 0. There was a prolonged amount of straightening from Paul Beachy, just not gelling with this new S15. And representing 11's Secret Works Dynamic Detailing Gentleman's Club 101. A nice initiation from Beachy. Oh, but that car, you just heard it misfire. You heard it misfire as he went.
Teething problem with his engine. Yeah, and he's totally missed that. And he's spun.
And you know what? He says, I've had enough. I'm going to go back to the pits and I'll take my race suit off and I'm going to spectate here at BDC round 2. And unfortunately, again, Paul Beachy fails to qualify here at BDC. Just not the year he wants to. You know what? I think he just needs seat time. I think he needs to just get in that car a few weekends and get some time, you know, behind the wheel. And we make it official. It will be a second 0 there for Paul Beachy. Unfortunately, Paul Beachy bows out of competition. Such a shame. We move it along to Darren Wiles in the incredible PS13. LS3 under the bonnet, it's 500 horsepower.
Completely hand-controlled vehicle.
Incredible, representing Westlake under the driver programme. And Darren, the property landlord, comes in for his second qualifying run. You can see he has to use that weight transfer initiation, just failed to get to clipping point 1. But now he finds himself on a very strange line. Yeah, just couldn't extend it enough down out onto outer zone 3. Comes back, finds himself back on a nice tidy line now though. As Darren Wiles puts hand to lever, shall I say, and takes it across the line.
Yeah, he did pull it back towards the end there, but
yeah, just a big mistake. You know, 31 in his first qualifying run. Not sure. He'll be very low down the order. Yeah, look at that, a 29th place at the moment, and the score drops in, it's going to be lower than his first, so yeah, unfortunately a 26 on his second, stays where he is in 29th place, a tentative wait for Darren Wiles Run. Toporowski now sits on the line, a 42 on his first qualifying run. And the eye of the Hulk, the eye of the monster.
yeah, that's it.
So Topo off the line. And Ryan Toporowski representing Yellow Speed, Opie Oils, Westlake Tyres, Drift Garage and Hell Performance. As Topo puts foot to floor. They're not looking too bad at the moment. Looks like it could be an improvement on his first run. Finds that nice wide line as Topo gets it to the wall. And you know what, for me, just to see Topo's car actually working, he's had a couple of hard years of that car breaking down constantly, and to see it working, see him get some good seat time behind the wheel is quite rewarding. So, it looks like a possible improved score. Kyle is such a hard sell, isn't he?
You can't please Kyle.
You just cannot please him. Look at that, 47, so he does improve where he is. Moves up to 23rd place. And we move it along to Matt Fountain. Now you can see him warming the tyres up there in our scrubbing area, so we give these guys a little area behind the start line just to scrub their tyres, because what happens when these semi-slick tyres are on very low tyre pressures, we give them the opportunity to, you know, warm them up, warm the front tyres up so they make more smoke, more show, and that's what we're here for.
It's going to affect the grip as well if the tyres are stone cold.
Exactly that, Sarah, exactly that. So off the line, Matt Fountain. Oh, nice and close to the wall there for Fountain. Can he hold it on the circuit? He just holds it on track there. He does. Yeah, it does drop down very, very shallow there for Fountain. Gets to the edge of outer zone 3 there, looking nice and tidy. He's been getting some good seat time in his car, and it's certainly showing right now as Matt Fountain puts foot to floor. And Fountain doing a sterling job in his qualifying run, takes it to the wall, and he's spot on Mike Wharton, will be absolutely jumping for joy right now. That was a really good qualifying run there for Matt Fountain. Yeah, look at that, rewarded by the judges, and they like what they see as well. And there we go, jumps into the top 10, does Matt Fountain a 74 on his second qualifying run. We go back to the line to Chris Wright.
He's also doing a bit of tyre warming as well.
Certainly is, look at that, he's happy inside the car, he's got a good qualifying run in the bag so far. And the software developer comes off the line for his second qualifying run. Nice fast flick initiation there for Chris, but he goes very wide. Yeah, too wide. There can potentially be 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit for Chris and score him a 0. But he keeps going, puts foot to floor, looks for that wide line. And takes that 350Z to the wall. And you wouldn't even know that car's turbo, it's that quiet.
It's super subtle, isn't it?
It's very, very subtle.
You've got the shops in there.
I will later on. I'm going to take it back to the hotel. Yeah, I'm going to say to him, look, Chris, just give us a quick spin in your car. I'll swap you. I'll swap you a 5 Series estate for your 350Z twin turbo.
Would you do it? You said.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I wouldn't let him drift my BMW out on track because I've got to drive it home. A 59 for Chris Wright on his second qualifying run. He doesn't improve on his first score, so he stays where he is. Up next, Lee Lawrence. So Lee Lawrence, there was a mishap, I think, on the scoring, I do believe, on his first qualifying run.
Was this the typo that happened?
Yeah, I think this was a typo. So Lee Lawrence, absolutely flying, look at that. Dances with the edge of the circuit, gets that car nice onto those 3 checkered lines, and it's a very nice line so far from Lee Lawrence. And this is what we're talking about, judges applauding him so far, absolutely flying is Lee Lawrence. Consistent smoke trail coming in the back of that car shows you he's on throttle more times than he's off of it. He puts foot to floor on a big clutch kick as he goes across the line. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Lee Lawrence. Very good stuff there, representing G3 Pro. Finish line UK, David Forsyth drifting, K98 Media, G3 Pro, Corbo and Niz Pro. It was an 18. It was an 18 on his first qualifying run, or was that a typo? Yeah. That was correct. Wow, it was a typo. So where does he score on his second? He's 30th, so he's inside the show, but it's a very low score. And we've still got a few guys sitting on a 0, so we could potentially get Lee Lawrence knocked out of competition. Oh, Gaz Taylor scores him a 0. It's incorrect. These judges, it's like they've never used technology before. You give them a tablet and they just melt. Yeah, they're like, whoa, you want me to press a button on something, think and watch and score. Could it top qualified? Almost. I didn't even see it. Disappeared off my screen before I got to see it. So it was an 84, for Lee Lawrence on his second qualifying run. Very nice score there. That should drop him inside the top 3, if not way up there. Lisa Branch now off the line, a 47 on her first qualifying run. And after so much heartbreak at round 1, can the young lady find herself in the show? Perfect to the edge of the circuit there, but again another driver dropping down those 3 hash marks. Fires that car a nice angle through out of zone 3. And Lisa Branch looking very, very confident. Another lady that suffered with nerves massively in yesteryears, but now no such worries as Lisa Branch takes it to the wall and across the line. Incredible. I'm lost for words a little bit.
I know, the judges.
I'm lost for words a little bit. That was, where did that come from? It was like she went, yeah, I'll show you something on my second qualifying run.
Low-ish score she got on the first one.
Wow, well, look at this. Gaz Taylor rewards it. Yeah, a 78 from Gaz Taylor, a 79 from Brad. Look at this, a big score, a 78 from Lisa Branch. Drops her into 6th place. And very, very good stuff.
So that's great. She will be so happy with that.
She'll be very, very happy with that. Sean Chesham now pulls the line. Nissan S15, 1UZ turbo, 500 horsepower. He says he's got all the gear and no idea. Well, he must have some sort of idea as he puts that car to the wall and chops very wide and showers the judges and everybody in the tower with stones. Thanks for that, Sean. And he
knows what he's done. He's gone straight in.
He said, wow, I'm in trouble with the boss. I'm getting out. He's seen Matt in the tower duck and he was like, I'm going home. I am going home.
He's driving straight out.
It will be a 0 for Sean Chesham. He sits where he is in 26th place at the moment.
In his own words, he did say all the gear and no idea.
Exactly. Yeah, that was his words, not mine. So a few more 0s in this half of the bracket to go, and then the last drivers to go, sorry. Nerigis now sits on the line. He scored a 57 in his first qualifying run, representing the Lunatics School, the Lithuanian Lunatics. Have their own contingency of drivers now.
A bit notorious now, aren't they?
They certainly are, as they come off the line, and Malks has got his coat on. That looks ominous for me. He's absolutely flying though. He's Nerigis puts the spoiler onto the wall, but he's going to go wide as well. Just about holds it on the edge of the circuit, and Nerigis absolutely pounds the rev limiter as he now takes that car out of zone 3. This is looking good from Nerigis at the moment. The car, back of that car so soft, it's bouncing up and down on compression. Fires big angle at 7.5, gets on a very wide line, puts foot to floor. And this is flying from Nerigis right now as he takes it across the finish line. Judges like that one. Oh, but judges saying 2 wheels off. So 2 wheels off, and it will be a 0. We're just waiting for
what happens because the rest of the run was just resting, wasn't it? He was absolutely flying. But there's a lot of good drivers.
But a 0 is a 0.
Two.
Exactly, so never just scores 0. He's in the show, but it's going to be a tentative wait for him. We move it along. Willie Hanna now scored a 68 in his first qualifying run. He's just got to remember, no fourth gear, big clutch kicks, and he'll be safe for competition. Looks like raindrops on the lens of the camera there.
Yeah.
Could the game be about to change? Willie Hanna puts it onto the wall. Absolutely incredible from Willie Hanna. Keeps it on track and finds the perfect line there. Just drops down ever so slightly on those 3 lines. Now gets back onto that qualifying line and puts foot to floor in the centre of the circuit. Nice transition back from Willie Hanna. You can hear him really working this car. Just 300 horsepower. He has to really pedal as Hanna takes it to the wall and across the line, and everybody in the tower applauds Willie Hanna. It sounds like we've got some Willie Hanna fans in the house. We certainly have. Let's just say that.
Look at it. Look at
The Scottish crowds are always good. The Scottish crowds are going to say, I'm going to say they're the best ones out there. Let me tell you that for nothing. They always cheer. Run 2 for Willie Hanna. What does he score? Can he top qualifying? The judges like the initiation.
Oh, it's tense, waiting for the scores.
So tense. And they just look over at us like, yeah, we'll make you wait. Don't you worry about that.
Exactly what they're doing.
Oh, 91 more!
One more.
Where's Carl's score?
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't.
It's definitely going to top qualify. There's a big score
Come on, stop
for
it.
Willie Hanna.
Kyle. He's a hard man to please, isn't he?
And we didn't get the final score, but look at that, a very, very good score there from Willie Hanna as he tops qualifying. No doubt, off the line, Charles Funnell now as he fires that car in. Oh, a tentative entry for Charles Funnell. He broke the drive shaft on the first qualifying run. And Charles Funnell just trying to keep it together, trying to get himself a score to get a place inside top 32. He knows that there's a few zeros on the board and some low scores down the bottom end of the bracket. As Charles Funnell finishes up his second qualifying run, as we mentioned earlier, a 0 in the first half.
He found his feet a little bit towards the end, but has he done enough to get some scores on the board?
So I'm intrigued to see what Willie Hanna scores. I'm just trying to get everyone's attention, but they're paying no attention to me. They said, you know what they said? They said wait, because at the end we're going to show you top qualifying. I was like, well, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. A 42. So Charles Funnell does get a score. It's 27th position, and he will be happy just to make a run. Up next, it will be Maciek Blazewski. Off the line.
Wave off the line.
Giving us a lot, yeah.
Yes, 14.
And it was a 0 on his first qualifying run.
This is the
Oh, and the rain's starting to fall. It just about holds it on the circuit there, but it makes a big wobble. You can see the windscreen wipers on now. Rain just ever so slightly starting to fall.
come off there as well. Is the rain starting to affect them? Because this track might just be getting a little bit greasy now.
It certainly will be, and the worst thing about rain on a drift event is we put rubber down now for 2 days solidly. As soon as that rain comes down, it just sits on the top of the rubber and makes it like an ice rink. So, I've got the inside scoop.
The inside scoop.
I can let you know that Willie Hanna's qualifying score was a 90. So he scored a 90, so he tops qualifying at the moment, taking Hugh Saville off that top spot. We move it along to the next guy on the line. It will be Carl Ferrar. I missed Maciek's score in all that excitement.
Excited to find out.
So excited. So Carl Ferrar now comes off the line at Mazda RX-8. He also scored a 0 on his first qualifying run, so he needs to put a score on the board to get himself in the show. Tentative entry for Ferrar. He knows he just needs to make it count. Oh, but he's very wide on outer zone 2, and then Doc drops down massively. He does find himself back on that qualifying line. As you can see there now, our current standings drop up on the screen. And you can hear Carl Ferrar really working that car. Very close to the wall for Ferrar, dancing with the devil. But he knew he had to pull it out of the bag. He knew that if he didn't put on a good run, and he's put a score on the board at least. As Carl Ferrar's score appears on our screen. A 67 there for Carl Ferrar, so he'll find himself inside the show. Now Paulius Judicious. It says Skyline R33.
Qualified for 4th in round 1 and finished in top 16. Can he do it again?
Can he do it again? Indeed. He's going to be looking to improve that score. Windscreen wipers on as he fires that to the wall. Oh, wow! Nice, snappy initiation, but he's very deep. He's very, very deep, and he aborts the run. He aborts the run, and I aborted the commentary tower for a second there as well.
We thought the stones were going to come for us then when he dropped those wheels off.
So that will be a 0 there for Paulius Judicious, yeah.
He's got more in him than that, but
just that weather, the longer we wait between these runs now, a little bit more rain. I don't know how hard it's raining. I can't actually see from the tower how much it is raining, but it is raining nevertheless. It's making the initiation very sketchy, so these guys are firing it in, the cars are just washing, because it is a hill there. Where Collision Point 1 is, it's at the top of the hill, like the brow of the hill, should I say. So as you initiate, you carry loads of speed, you gain more speed as you come down in towards the gravel, and you can see it there on the windscreen of the car. It's starting to rain now.
A bit more than spitting out.
And we can see it in the distance. If we look out of our judging tower, we can see for miles across the beautiful, backdrop of Scotland, and we can see the rain rolling in across the hills. And David now Petruskas comes off the line for his second qualifying run. They're 75, so he's just going to want to try and get a run around. Not sure if he's going to better his first qualifying run. Looking good at the moment though for David S. Petruskas.
Quite a strong run.
And it's a very strong run. Yeah, he scored a 75 in his first qualifying run. This looks like it could be way, way up there as Petruskas takes it across the line. Very nice job there.
He must be one of the most powerful cars here as well. 800 horsepower.
800 horsepower, yeah, for sure. Until we get the big boys out. Until the pros come out, yeah, today.
Anyway. Well, it's not all about horsepower.
It certainly isn't, no.
As we've seen.
And Louis Edwards still up in the mix, with that little 350 horsepower car.
Yep, score's dropping in 55. That run was a little bit more untidy than the first, so no, he hasn't failed in his first run.
Crisis aborted. I thought it was a crisis then. It's something we've never seen before at a drift event. So there we go, I'm up next. Sorry, just having a chat with some of the directors here. Stu Jones now makes way. Oh, wow, look at Stu Jones! Oh, but he drops a wheel off the edge of the circuit, and again it drops wheels off the edge of the circuit. Brave initiation from Jones. I didn't catch the score for David S. Did you get it?
55, I think.
So 55, so 30 score. Yeah, Stu Jones there. I'm going to assume that's a 0. There was quite a prolonged amount of wheel off track. See Darren Wiles there on that drop zone with a score of 31. And look at that, official will be a 0. Currently sits in 12th position though with a 72, so you can see how much the scores have bumped up towards that top 10 of the drivers list. We move it along to Hugh Saville. He was top in qualifying until Winnie Haller came out and said, "Oh no, you don't, buddy."
Is that him warming up? We can hear.
That
There
is
he is.
Hugh Saville warming up the tyres on that 1UZ Toyota Corolla A86, 800 horsepower, the 2017 RDC champion representing a Renegade Race Fuel, Westlake ABW Engineering and Hugh Lewis tyres. Nice initiation. Doesn't throw as much angle as what we assumed, but that initiation now must be getting there. It's a slightly sketchy and a very nice technical line from Hugh Saville. As he now puts foot to the floor through the centre of the circuit, you can see him transition back into outer zone 5. Just a little blip of the throttle, 800 horsepower. Oh, but he's very wide there. Can Saville hold it together? And again, one wheel off the edge of the circuit across the line for Saville. Oh, Gaz scoring at a 0.
Definitely going to 2 wheels off then.
So,
next up, Louis Edwards, 17-year-old.
17-year-old, yes, absolutely smashing it. He was flying earlier on in practice, and his first qualifying run was just the same, an 84 on his first qualifying run, and this now is where he comes into play. A little bit of damp weather. Look at this big flick initiation. Oh wow! Louis Edwards drops, what is it, 1 or 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit.
Tell from here, but that looked really, really impressive. What a great initiation.
Unbelievable.
A bit wide though. Judges will have to take that one.
They certainly will, as now Louis Edwards puts foot to floor in the middle of the circuit. You can see this part of the circuit a little bit drier compared to the initiation. Gets on that nice wide line, finds the edge of the circuit and takes that car to the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause, Louis Edwards. That initiation was just so brave. Oh, and it was a 0, it was a wheels off track. So Louis Edwards stays where he is, and we move it along. Luke Barker now, this guy. We see this car shut down just after initiation. As mentioned earlier, this guy been in the mouths of many Irishmen in the last couple of months. He's been absolutely dominating the Drift Games National Championship. But can he find some form in the UK? A broken drive shaft at round 1 put him out of competition. And he has so much to prove on home soil. What has he got right now as Luke Barker comes up for initiation? A very tidy job. And now it looks like that car working for him as everybody holds their nerve ever so slightly, puts foot to floor. And Luke Barker flying at the moment. This is Luke Barker that we've come to know. And a very nice line transitions into outer zone 5. You can see Washington completely through it, looks for that wide line before he heads to the wall for 6. And Barker takes it over the line. So where does Team Top Gun score? So waiting for the judges to put their score in, just deliberating that one, so maybe some things there that we didn't see. Barker, here we go, a 68 from Gaz, a 65 from Carl, a 79 from Brady. Like what you see, a 70 overall. So he does get a score on the board, he does jump inside competition, and we move along. Paul Cunnington now, he finished 4th place at round 1. Now with the rain falling from the sky, you can see us. You see our man on the ground there, Matt House, put on a show. Nice initiation from Cunnington as our cameraman just gets ever so slightly lost. A nice line through outer zone 3 now. Cunnington puts foot to floor. You know, really working that car, Cunnington, as he comes into that final outer zone and takes it across the finish line.
So he had a 53 in run 1. Has he done enough to beat it?
Well, he currently sits in 24th position, so he's inside the show. There's only one more driver to go with a 0, and that is Martin Cowley. So Martin Cowley, who will be up next, he's the only driver left with a 0. So yeah, he's definitely improved on his first qualifying run. Do Carl and Gaz agree? And they certainly do. A 73 moves him way up the order into 12th place. We move it along to this guy, the only guy remaining with a 0. Can he get himself a place in qualifying? The conditions have changed for Cowley, but he needs to overcome and adapt right now as he fires that car in. Gets on a very nice wide line, does Martin Cowley. You can see him there just put that front wheel through those 3 outer zones, and look at this, looking tidy from your 3rd place finisher at round 1, puts foot to floor again, does Cowley. Comes through the centre of the circuit. He's on a very nice line now as Martin Cowley, as he looks for the final outer zone and the finish line, and he will breathe a sigh of relief as Martin Cowley takes it back across the line.
That kind of driving is what impressed me at round 1.
Yeah, look, he's just, I think round 1, first qualifying run, just very unfortunate for Cowley, not what we've seen from him before. Very good score dropping in from Martin Cowley. He's going to find himself inside the top 5. If they continue to come in like that, they certainly do. And there we go, 81 just outside his 6th position, and an 81 for Cowley. Finds himself in competition. Some very happy supporters there. The final 2 drivers make their way to the line. It will be Nick Brady up next. He's on a 44. He's way down the order at the bottom of qualifying at the moment. 2nd step on the podium, and he can taste success. He'll want to get himself on that podium again this weekend here at Driftland, as Brady puts his car on the wall and hangs a spoiler over the edge of the immovable concrete wall. Very tidy line there from Brady, but again another driver just dropping down, just not being able to get the line right, and again drops off track there. Does Brady. You can hear him really working the car in the centre section, transitions in to our zone 5, puts big angle in it. He's going to sacrifice the line. He's going to have to really adjust now. Brady starts to fall apart as he finishes off the run. So did he score a 0 or did he just about hold it? Look at in 28th position is Nick Brady.
Did look like 2 wheels off from where I could see, but the judges have got that.
We're not the judges. It's completely down to them. We can just give everybody our opinion from where we're sitting in the judging tower. So run 2 in the bag for Brady, but what did he score? Was it a 0 or was it a scored run? Oh, look at this, and a 0. Yeah, it was a 0. So wheels off track there for Nick Brady after a little bit of judging deliberation. So he stays where he is in 28th position. He can't be knocked out now. There's only one more guy to go, and that is Josh King, a 72 on his first qualifying run. The round 1 winner and your current points leader. But he's like a wounded deer at the moment in his backup car. He's not feeling 100%.
He's not letting it stop him so far.
He's certainly... Oh wow, are we getting word? Are we getting word? Oh wow, and we can confirm that Josh King won't make his second qualifying run of the day. So Josh King will not make his second qualifying run of the day. We need to make that official, which is going to get the results up on the screen. And wow.
Shame for Josh King, he does not need that.
And a big upset. Yeah, look at that last run of the day. They're qualifying here at round 2, and we make it official. It will be a 0 for Josh King. Well, Sarah, there we go, qualifying done and dusted. And before we go, we're going to bring up the qualifying scores, the results. And there we go, Willie Hanna tops qualifying with a 90, followed by Hugh Saville in 85th, with an 85. In 3rd, Louis Edwards. 4th, Lee Lawrence. 5th, David Curtis. 6th, Martin Cowley. 7th, Robbie Bagone. 8th, Lisa Branch. 9th, Ash Jones. 10th, Philip Hayden. In 11th place, Davis Petruskas. 12th, Matt Fountain. In 13th, Paul Cunnington. 14th, Stu Jones. 15th, Josh King, just making himself in the show, but can he fix that car for later on? Luke Barker with one run to get it done, makes it happen in 16th place. Dominic Gates in 17th. Will Gibbs in 18th. Carl Farrar in 19th. Rob Johnson in 20th. In 21st place, Danny Maguire. 22nd for Chris Wright. 23rd for Jack Wotton. 24th for Fitzgerald. 25th for Nerridges. 26th for Stu Ardsley. 27th for Toporowski. 28th for Brady. 29th for Chesham. 30th place, Charles Funnell with 1 run. He got it done in 1 run, got himself in 30th place. And the final 2 drivers will be Paulius Judicious in 31st, and 32nd will be Chris Gerard. Unfortunately, we lose Jolene McDonald, Darren Wiles, Maciek, Beachy, Dan Ball, and the rest of those guys out of competition. Sarah, that is it for us. Qualifying is done. We're going to sit back now and watch our pro practice kick off. We'll be back very soon with our top 32 competition here at round 2 of the 2019 British Drift Championship, live from Driftland in Scotland.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Tarmac Sports.